Thank you all for coming. Pleasure to see everyone and welcome back, Aubrey. Thank you. We're so glad to see you. Okay, could you establish a quorum for us?
Yes. Commissioner Nagao.
Here.
Commissioner Basiji.
Here.
Chair Cohen.
Here.
Commissioner Dixon.
Yeah.
And Commissioner O'Reilly. Here. So we do have a quorum of commissioners.
Okay, time for the Pledge of Allegiance. Oh. So we signed up for that.
I'm afraid not, George.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any public comments not on the agenda, Jamie?
We do not currently have anyone in attendance online or in person, and I've not received anything ahead of time. So no public comment at this.
Okay, the first item are the senior commission changes.
All right, so that is me. The presentation and all of the information for this item was included in the packet. So let me go ahead and share my screen.
Do you want to use it or do you want to?
I'll go ahead and do that one. All right.
Item two.
Yeah. Try that one more time.
Senior commission is not currently co-host. You want me to change it? Did I need it?
On my computer, yeah.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Okay, maybe it's co-host.
There we go. Thank you for your patience. All right, so I do have a PowerPoint presentation. There are a number of changes that Los Altos City Council is going to be implementing going forward. So all of that, again, is highlighted in the presentation, but I'll go ahead and review that now. So the first one, as we go in, is that the city council really took a look at all of the commissions, and what they did find was that in comparison to other agencies around the area, Los Altos actually had more commissions that met more frequently and had many more commission members than our peer cities. So what they were really trying to do is to make it more efficient and in line with agencies that are surrounding. So that was really the idea behind making some of these updates and changes to the commissions and kind of policies and procedures that lead into all of the commissions. So the first one, and these were the things that they really took a look at. How often commissions were meeting, the makeup of the commissions, and that really goes to how many individuals would serve on the commission, the number of individuals that would create the commission, powers and duties, attendance and participation, reporting, and really the alignment. So for those that have been on a commission for the past few years, you will remember that the commissions used to reorganize, half at the beginning of the year and half at the end of the year. Some would report out at the beginning of the year, the other half would report out at the end of the year. And then they would actually recruit twice a year. That has since changed. They are now recruiting once a year, roughly in the August timeframe, so that they can appoint commissioners in September. And the expectation is that all the commissions will report out together once a year. So really, a lot of these changes are working to align everything with that new timeline. And then all of these pieces are now highlighted in the updated Commissioner Handbook, which we've provided a hard copy to you to take home with you. In addition, it was included electronically in the packet that you received at the end of last week. So the Commission Handbook changes that are highlighted specifically on what ad hoc subcommittees are. The role of the commission liaison. So let's say that there are other organizations or groups that meet within the community, and that group would like a liaison from a particular commission to regularly come to their meetings. It talks about that process of how the commission can appoint someone to attend those other community group meetings. The role of the council liaisons, conflict of interest, and also the election of chair and vice chair. So I will go into a little bit more detail on each of these items. So commission changes. When they really looked at all of these pieces, again, how often you meet, who makes up the commission, powers and duties, attendance and reporting. These are all the commissions that we now currently have. And what the regular meetings were previously and what the new policy is going to be. So you will note, senior commission really did not change. Now, the biggest change for regular meetings is that we still meet once a month regularly on the first Monday of every month, with the exception of July and December. It is now written in the policy that there will not be regular meetings during those 2 months. So during the course of the year, regular meetings, we will have 10 a year. This will also go towards what we would consider and look at for participation. So it will be based upon the regular meetings, and over the course of the year, it will be 10. Our membership has not changed. We have 7 members, 5 from City of Los Altos and 2 from Los Altos Hills. That is remaining the same. So we will continue with that makeup going forward. And so, and our powers and duties have not changed. What the senior commission is expected to do is to really make recommendations on what would be best for our senior population. So that has not changed. Going forward, again, besides the senior commission, youth commission and planning commission were the 2 commissions that really remained very similar to what they were before. But many of the other commissions had changes to their makeup, changes to their meeting frequency, but we're lucky. We get to remain very similar to what we had previously. Again, as I highlighted, we will still remain the same as far as composition goes. So having the 5 and 2 to make up the total of the 7 members that we will have for the senior commission. Again, no changes to our powers and duties. And again, on the pieces here, the expectation is that all of the commissions submit an annual work plan, which is, again, a document that outlines what it is you would like to work over the course of that term through September timeframe. A forum for public engagement, which we absolutely do reach out to the public. The public has an opportunity to attend our meetings, and ask questions or present ideas in that fashion. Other tasks as assigned by city council, so it may be that there is a project that they would like the senior commission to consider. That is always an opportunity. And then obviously at the end of that term, submit a report to really talk about what was accomplished over this past year. So those are all the elements that every single commission will be expected to do going forward. So again, this is, they did a slide per, but again, this is again highlighting that we will now have 10 regular meetings and we will still have 7 with 2 being from Los Altos Hills. This is the actual terminology. So for powers and duties, will act as an advisory capacity to council on matters pertaining to senior interests and concerns, and make recommendations aimed to improve the life for seniors, and will submit an annual report to City Council. Attendance and participation. So it is required that the majority of the members come in person to the meetings. And before I get to that, it is expected, and it's listed in the Commissioner Handbook, that you attend 75% of those regularly scheduled meetings. Now, that is of the 10. There may be special meetings that are called, but that is not taken into account for this 75%. It's of those regular meetings. And then in regards to remote participation, it is in the Commissioner Handbook that no more than 20% of the meetings, so with 10, 2 of those meetings can be done remotely, and that would, depending on the circumstances, can either be through the traditional Brown Act teleconferencing or AB 2449. So depending on the scenario, obviously working with myself and Candace, and sometimes if necessary, because sometimes there are questions, we obviously consult our city clerk as well, but no more than 20% teleconference. All right, so specifically on teleconferencing, and we experienced that at the last meeting, there are very specific protocols that need to be followed if a member of the commission is participating remotely. So there are a number of questions that the chair has to ask that individual commissioner, and it talks about whether the conference location was properly noticed, if it is accessible to members of the public, and if anyone is present besides the commissioner themselves. So again, if that instance, obviously staff will be there to support, to make sure that all of those pieces are done accordingly. But this is what will be required if a commissioner participates remotely. All right, so reporting back to council in the first quarter. So again, to provide an overview of the work plan, the things that the commission would like to accomplish over the course of the year, and to provide, to meet with council at a joint meeting. This will be true for all of the commissions. Yep, all right, next one. Handbook changes. So this is where I think, and obviously there will be an opportunity to ask any questions if you have any, but let's dive in. First one is subcommittees. So council had quite a bit of discussion here, and the end result is that there will no longer be standing committees, which means a general broad or overview of a committee that covers an undescript amount of time. Add very specific, and so a very specific start and a very specific end. And so specifically for ad hoc, does not require the public posting. This will allow the subcommittee to work outside of the regular commission meetings, meeting and public staff support, all of that good stuff. As I just mentioned, it has a specific topic and a specific time frame. So as an example, rather than having, say, a marketing subcommittee, just generalized that they will handle marketing. Instead, it may turn to creation of a flyer. And the creation of flyer will take the course of the month. It will start on October 2nd. It will end on October 31st. Or the next commission meeting where the committee presents their finalized flyer, then that ad hoc subcommittee would conclude that specific topic. So rather than just say marketing and you assign 2 commissioners, it is very specific to a task. And it can, so again, not continuing. So again, that is one adjustment, that it's not just ongoing. It is a very specific time frame for a very specific topic. And it cannot be established in multiple years. So again, having marketing every single year, again, it has to be very specific for the task at hand. And then obviously too, which the commission generally does, it is required that the ad hoc subcommittee do a final report out to the full commission so that all of that information comes back to the commission. This is the other one. Commissioners can only serve on one subcommittee at a time. So, which is, will add a little bit more strategy as you work on the specific tasks that you would like to accomplish. But in a commission of 7 members, you could theoretically have, if you want to work individually, but again, no more than this, and for subcommittees, you're still held to, it has to be less than a quorum. So you can have no more than 3, but in that instance, then it means that the commission itself, if you have 3 on one, no more than 3 ad hoc subcommittees at a time with a 3, 3, and 1. Or you could kind of do the math and divide it up accordingly, but no more than 1 at a time. And again, a specific task and time frame. All right. Motion of establishment has to be included in for the subcommittee. So it's comprised solely of members on the commission, okay? Less than a quorum of the commission, and it includes a defined purpose and time frame. And obviously it should be less than 1 year in duration. And it will automatically terminate once the final report out is done to the full commission at a public meeting. And then obviously will not be reestablished or renewed in multiple years. And again, it is advisory in nature and not established to work on items that would be considered a continuing jurisdiction. Commissioner liaison. So as I mentioned, if there are other community groups that meet and a senior commissioner would like to work with or has been asked to attend or assist with maybe a project that they're working on, commissions may assign individual commissioners to act as a liaison to other boards, commissions, or agencies without establishing an ad hoc subcommittee. The full commission should be updated in public, so a report out of what that liaison has heard, bring that back to the commission. And the position supported by the liaison are to be in alignment. So again, if you are appointed, and it can also
understanding it in more depth, we could discuss it, even in ad hoc committee. But now we'll be relearning or learning again for every time we're part of a small committee.
Actually, I disagree, I think it can be simplified. Once we get through the first,
Once we what?
once we get through the re-engineering the water plan.
Yeah, I
think
mean,
we're
we'll have to
gonna-
re-engineer and see how it would work, but. The re-engineering itself is gonna take so long.
Yeah, because I think a lot of times we were just sort of hanging in there doing not much. And multiple people were reporting on being on multiple subcommittees, and there were always standing subcommittees, and it just, the complication would become a lot simpler. I think it's an improvement, why would you ask me?
You think it's an improvement?
Oh, yeah.
So you're gonna work on the. Sure, that ad hoc committee, you know,
I think all of us.
well, no, I think anything's possible. I'm just pointing out that, you know, we've been ingrained in our domain and trying to learn it really carefully. Some of us have been in 2 and 3 domains. And tonight, this afternoon, we're supposed to report on our domain. I think that's a moot point right now. I don't think we should. Because it's just, you know, it's just burst now. I mean, it's just like breaking up into 10 pieces of each domain.
With that being said, does that mean we're gonna start all over and that Cafe will not be moving forward with their efforts because we haven't completed our efforts?
No, not at all. The process would still move forward. Because there are absolutely the elements that we are still working on leading up. And so, it is just the structure and the how that is changing. And so that is something that it's a new process, which we, myself and Candace will be here to kind of support and answer questions, as I'm sure those will come up as we start making these adjustments, because it will be a change in how some of the work is done. But I think once we get 1 or 2 maybe ad hoc subcommittees under our belt and really focus on some of those specific tasks, it will absolutely become easier.
Okay.
Yes, yes. So also in the packet along for this item, if you were curious, we included the resolution because there were some commissions that had updates to do their powers and duties. And then we also, as I mentioned, have the hard copy and electronically sent the handbook as well. If you ever lose it or want access to it, it is on the city website. You would just have to navigate to commissions and committees, and there is a specific tab for the handbook itself. All right, so that concludes my presentation for all of the commission changes.
Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah.
I know that was
You
a
did a
mouthful.
masterful job, thank you.
Very nice. Okay, so the next item is number 2, which is the senior commission reorganization. So that means we're gonna hold another election today for a chair and a vice chair. And the chair cannot be 2 years in a row. It's gonna sit a year and come back. So I will not be chair. Whoever gets elected now, we're gonna hold an election right now. Whoever gets to be chair right now is gonna take over the meeting now, like we did always, and run with it, okay? So, Jamie, do you want to conduct the?
Yep. So we will go ahead and open nominations for chair, as Chair Cohen just mentioned. It is, you cannot serve consecutive terms, but you can do a different role, but that is the anticipation that you can't do back to back. So I will go ahead and open it up for nominations for the position of chair.
I nominate Kevin. Commissioner.
I declined the nomination. I appreciate it for a number of reasons. So most of them personal. I'm not going to have to be able to do that.
I nominate Jane. I know we talked about not running consecutive, but I think this is, different.
I can't be consecutive.
No, you can't be, because I think it's just, we are going against the bylaws of the,
All right, then I nominate Jim.
no, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna accept,
Well,
I'm
you
sorry.
like the whole
I appreciate
thing, you like
doing
her,
that,
so you should be sure.
but, no, I think.
I second it.
No, I've been chair before.
Oh, my God.
It looks like there's not many people. Are you interested?
I'm too new, she's brand new.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, one of you have to do it.
yeah, my plate is pretty full, I apologize, but in case that there's absolutely no other option, I'll accept, but my plate is really full, I prefer not to.
So we have Jim.
We have a motion and then a second. So.
Is there any more nominations?
How about Bill? Because Bill,
He's not here.
yeah, but, you know, I mean, in absentia.
He's not here yet. So isn't it time to vote?
Unless there are any other nominations.
Are you sure you don't want to?
He's gonna accept it. Not
Yeah, I-
Oh, she can co-chair, very good.
Travel
I really
plan.
truly,
years.
but me too, I have travel plans, and, that's another complication.
So the other piece to always keep in mind is that we will also be electing a vice chair. And in the instance that the chair is not available to run the meeting, the vice chair is then selected to fill in for that role. In the instance that both the chair and vice chair, you can select another commissioner pro tem to then serve in that capacity to run the meeting, if the chair and vice chair are both not available. But we have two positions, and we're just talking about the chair at this point. So it is just to be present to run the meetings, and then obviously knowing that you have the backup in the vice chair if needed. So there, the idea is that we have many commissioners that would feel comfortable in, running a public meeting. So the hope is to build the bench, so to speak, so that we have more experienced commissioners.
I'm declining. Sorry. I just went through my work plan, and it's just really pretty onerous.
And wait until we have more commissioners present?
We could potentially, but this is the majority of the commission. We have 5. It would just be the addition of 2, which is a brand new commissioner from Los Altos Hills and an existing commissioner as well from Los Altos too. We could potentially, but would that be?
She's the new commissioner from Los Altos.
Yes. Yeah, it's just one new commissioner from Los Altos and then one existing, so that are not present here today.
I think Bill is very passionate about a lot of the work that we are doing, including the cafe and all that. In my viewpoint, maybe the feasible thing to do would be wait for him to be here and.
My only caution is that when I was the library commission liaison, I think they ended up postponing the reorganization because the hope was that all 7 commissioners would be present. And they ended up postponing, I think, 3 meetings because not, everyone has well intentions of being present and then something comes up. So we absolutely can look to agendize that for November, but it may be going into and just being realistic on timing, that is going into the holiday season and we would just have November. There is no meeting in December. And so it could be that we only have a quorum of commissioners present for the November meeting. And it would then be selection of those individuals and we would potentially have less. So it is a risk that we can do. But again, it is the hope that we have a person that can serve in the chair capacity, knowing that the vice chair can support. We also have the ability to select, if the both chair and vice chair, we can always select a different commissioner to then chair if you are not able to be at the meeting.
Do we need a motion to that effect that someone wants to postpone it for 1 month, the election?
So I guess the other question too, we still have the position of vice chair. Do we, does the commission feel strongly that we need to postpone both positions and wait until we have all the commissioners? We can do that, and we can, I'm now forgetting the terminology, but we can agendize it for the next meeting, if that is what the direction of the commission will be.
The question is, would any of you want to be vice chair?
Why don't we wait until the full core is present and we can vote on that? I mean, my subtext of what you said about the library commission is that the work they were doing really did not get heard by the fact that you were.
No, absolutely, and I think the other, I would have to go back, but I don't know in the past few months that we have had a full commission present for a meeting the last few months. So being realistic, it's postponing, I think, maybe a similar conversation that we would have in November. Unless you want time to think about the roles. But the past few months, we have not had all 7 commissioners present for a meeting.
Sure, I'll accept it twice.
No,
You can't do it. All right.
So if we want to postpone to November, we can.
Well, you could do chair, Jim, and Jane can be vice chair.
But as I said, my plate is so full, and I've got a lot of, between now and the May, I have a lot of travel as well, so.
And although, as Councilmember Layton points out, although Jane could not serve in the chair capacity, she can serve in the vice chair because that would be a different role. And so that would not be a consecutive term. So do we want to postpone to November?
Or another thing is,
Do we need a vote on that?
That's why it's fair, we could go for it.
Or we can select, it would be easier to have the chair and vice chair selected. And it sounds like but we can postpone to November.
It would be a good idea to let it sit so people can think about.
On your calendars, postpone. Or else suffer the consequences if I plunge headlong into something I have no idea about.
Okay.
It's a tough call. It's a tough call. Yeah. Yeah.
So consensus from the commission that they would like to postpone to November?
well, the other option is, they do have another option. They can take an action today with an explanation. I know that was the intent, but sometimes we have no. we come back and go back.
Would it be possible to, apply for an exemption to that policy for 1 year for our commission? I mean, we just voted, discussed this and voted last month, and people were completely comfortable with the results. So could we do that in lieu of postponing?
They can take an action and provide a comment. Explanation.
You don't want to do that? You don't want to do that?
Oh, I do.
Who would Jamie ask?
Yeah, under the old system, under the old rules, and would it be, would that still be valid?
Would people agree to
That is a,
exemption for this year?
that is,
How would we do that?
I can bring that back. So, as far as the policy for, the handbook, sorry, that word completely escaped my mind. That was approved by city council. And as far, that was a question that I posed. There are a few, because again, the commissions half used to go at the beginning. And so there were, the senior commission is not the only one in this same scenario. And that was a question that was posed by multiple staff liaisons. And it was indicated that we needed to align with the new policy. So it was I can pose the question again, but I don't anticipate getting a different answer. So there are several other commissions that just elected and are having to do an election in October again. So again, the senior commission is not the only one that is in the same predicament.
I can understand it, the logic.
And so that the only piece for consideration is that having an exception would then, again, all about consistency. We would have to honor that for the other ones as well. And that was not the direction that was decided at that time. So again, I can pose the question, but I do not anticipate a different answer. And I would anticipate that they would say, we need to abide by the current approved policy that is outlined in the handbook. So November.
I would encourage you to really consider taking action today, because it then would take it back. And to avoid this type of decision, it would then trigger some additional changes to the handbook. And that's not what we want to see.
Okay, explain one thing to me. If a novice like me were to say, all right, I'm going to be the chair, how much can the vice chair help?
Absolutely. So there's always the first meeting and as an example, that is what my role as the staff liaison is here to support and make sure that policy and procedure is followed. I can also share that we would, whatever the comfort level the individual is, we can regularly meet to make sure that preparation before the meeting, and so that the individual is comfortable. There absolutely are cheat sheets, if you will, so that you can have something in front of you to review what protocols or processes that would need to be followed. But essentially, to simplify it, the role of the chair is to make sure that an orderly meeting is conducted. And so that is to make sure that the commissioners all have equal time to provide their feedback, input, ask questions, and also to provide the public with the same capacity to share their feedback and to make sure that it is done in a fair and consistent way. So that really is the role of the chair, is just to make sure that everyone has equal opportunity to provide feedback and be a part of the discussion.
Okay, well, maybe I will say I would like to try, but lean heavily on everybody. The main reason being that the whole of last year when I was very busy, my co-commissioners have been incredibly helpful. And, this year when they say they are busy, I would like to pay it forward.
That sounds wonderful. And again, this is the spirit of the commission is to bring volunteers from the community together to have these public discussions. And so it is absolutely a team effort and staff. And I don't want to speak for the commission, but would like to say that we can come together as a team to make that an easy transition.
You have very supportive commission.
That they do, that they are,
Not gonna be
that
a
they are.
problem.
They are
And also
always,
staff, I think.
yes.
Chicken-
Oh, I've heavily asked many, many times.
Staff and your fellow.
Even I was chair. Thank you for chair for 2 years.
Well, thank you. And
So it sounds like we have someone that has accepted the nomination. So I will just ask one last time, any other interest or nominations? Then all those in favor to
Well,
have,
actually, you need someone to make a
Yeah.
motion.
I move that Siobhan is nominated and approved as the chair of this senior commission.
all those in favor? Okay. All right, so now we have the chair position. We'll move to the vice chair position. Opening up for nomination.
like to nominate Jane to be that way.
I decline.
Oh, don't do that.
Are there any other nominations for?
That's okay, that's okay.
We need to have your backup.
Anyone can lead the meeting, don't worry.
Nominations?
You can do it, Jim.
Also part of it would be helper.
I nominate Jim.
I'll accept that.
All those in favor with the motion and second for Commissioner Basigi as vice chair? Okay, so we have our new chair and vice chair. Okay, so Shawbury, the meeting is now yours. So with that, we are on item number 2. So that then moves us to item number 3 for approval of the minutes.
So next item is the approval of the minutes. Did everybody go through the minutes? I was not present, so what do I do?
So as long, you actually can still vote, as long as for those that are present can attest that the meeting minutes are accurate, but you can still vote to approve.
Second.
All those, and then you would call for all those in favor.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Any opposed?
Any opposed?
And any abstention?
Any abstentions?
You're an abstention.
Oh, I was an abstention.
So you can abstain or you can vote to approve. Okay.
So that's done. The AARP survey marketing plan, and the staff will tell us.
Yes, so in your packet is the report that outlines the pieces that the commission, or at least in front of you. Hold on. There we go. So I've been prodding AARP. I don't quite have the link, the test link yet. So, in regards to marketing, these are the avenues that, I've confirmed with, our staff and our PIO team. We will have the posting on the city website, so that will be listed on the Parks and Recreation homepage, in addition to the adult 50+ webpage. We have the ability to include it in the city manager's emailed newsletter. Also our Parks and Recreation emailed newsletter. All of our social media accounts, which includes Facebook, Instagram, and Nextdoor. We also have our adult 50+ spotlight newsletter. The Los Altos Community Center monitors. So for those that, and I'm referencing the TV monitors that have the regular rotation of information for the city and Parks and Recreation. We are planning to do a press release, and then in addition to town crier ads. So these are all of the avenues that will be utilized to advertise once the link is available. So before you, and what the commission should consider are supplements of how other avenues that you might, as the commission, want to do to support these avenues that will already be taken care of by city staff. So as an example, and I shared at a previous meeting, Rotary has reached out and asked that maybe once the link is available, that a commissioner come out and do a brief 10-minute talk about the process and the need for feedback to be given through the survey. So that is just an example, but that's what's before the commission to discuss supplemental ways to market and outreach once the link is available.
And how long will we have?
So the recommendation from CAFE is to have the survey open at least 12 weeks. What AARP and the research and development team has shared is that we can check in at roughly the 6-week mark to see how many respondents we have gotten. And then that can indicate whether we need to ramp up outreach or if what we're getting is fairly good. But it's roughly 12 weeks.
All right. Do we do anything with that then?
Are there other ideas about other ways to market, or is there, I know Rotary is one that would love to have a commissioner, and that is something that maybe we can bring back in November once we get the live link. But do any of the commissioners have any other ideas about outreach?
300 survey people?
That is correct. So so we, they recommend for our size of community that we have at least 300, but the shooting for perfection would be to get at least 500, but 300 is about the minimum that we should target.
Based on the population of elders in our community, I think there's 32,000. So it's a certain percentage in order to get the right sample size.
Correct.
I would certainly request someone to come to the group of Indian seniors who I'll help to take care of, to talk about this and to include them, and I can be present to translate if needed.
Lovely.
Because most of the time we don't even participate in anything.
And we do want to make sure that we get a variety of feedback, which is important. Yes.
So what about at our luncheons? You do have luncheons here and we have luncheons at Grant Park. That would be a nice gathering of people that we can have someone then speak to this.
That would be fabulous. So maybe that is some, with those 3 ideas, would there be a commissioner that would like to take on? It could be 1 or 2 commissioners, and we could assign an ad hoc subcommittee to do those presentations. And it could be a single, it could be a double, and once that presentation is done, then that subcommittee, and then you can report out at the next commission meeting how the presentation went. And it could be just a basic of what the age-friendly process is. We want your feedback through an AARP survey.
I'll be happy to go ahead and look at that.
The Gal and I know the grant community very, very well.
Yeah.
So why don't we team up?
Okay, that'd be great.
So we have Commissioner, so I would need a motion to form that ad hoc subcommittee with the specific task of presenting to one of the Grant Park luncheons.
How do you say, how do you say this? That it should be a motion for
Yeah.
presenting the ARP survey and explaining it at the Grand Park?
And let's tie a specific time frame. So do we want to target the October one, or do maybe go to November?
But the link hasn't even come.
No, and so it might be good to say the time frame to select one of the luncheons in October or November.
October's lunch
Is at the end of this month.
Yeah, that's
No,
not.
it's 11, October.
Okay, so maybe we target November.
Whether we'd be able to get ourselves up to speed on that.
Okay. So then the motion would be to create the ad hoc subcommittee to present at the November Grant Park luncheon.
But I think that the moment you present, if there is no link, what is the point?
Well, it might be by then.
We should have that by then.
I'll also make a friendly amendment to that they cover both lunches, the one here and the one at Grand Park. That ad hoc committee, because it's, it's the same little talk, different people go.
Yeah,
So
that's a
you
good.
do that? Do you accept this one? Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, thank you.
So who is the motioner?
Do we have to go?
Yes. So we need a motion and then a second.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
okay.
All in favor?
Aye. All opposed?
Anyone opposed?
No.
I think it was unanimous.
I vote yes. Can't you skip the other two questions?
Okay. So we have the one for the luncheons. There were two other suggestions. The one that I mentioned, which was Rotary, and then Shabri.
Yeah, at the senior group, the solar group that I run.
You think you could do that one?
I can do that one, and what I can come back and tell you is if I need help, then I can ask you to come.
So then there is that specific task. So similar to the Grant Park and Community Center luncheons, there would need to be the motion for the ad hoc subcommittee for now Chair Dixit to do that presentation.
Motion or everything.
Correct.
I move that Shabri handles the cultural group.
All right,
And
thank
she
you.
does the little talk.
Let's be specific on the timing.
We have a meeting on the 10th of October, and I'll do it on that day.
Okay,
But the link might not be available.
The link may, well,
It's the second Tuesday of the month.
You're right.
So it might be the second Tuesday of November.
so we could say
Put the date to that, just in case.
October and November.
right, so I could give that talk either on 10th of October or 14th of November, which is our Diwali function.
So there,
So I think
Yes.
motion, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nobody opposed?
Bill said that, he recommended that we go to residential care also. And the place that I know is Bridgepoint, and then also, the terraces perhaps. Was there a third place? And he wanted to do that actually, so could we check with him to see if he wants?
and absolutely, that could be something that we can bring back. And so we can have that as an agenda item. So that we can then maybe
So can we start making a list of those, because we are talking about, this is the second thing we've talked about for November. Oh, somebody will write it down. Okay.
And then there was the other suggestion, is there anyone that would like to present at Rotary?
Oh, do you know them? You could do it.
If I was well steeped in
We have the
the.
bullet, we need a bullet point thing.
Yeah, if we have. if
There
we-
is one.
I'm not gonna be able to
Yeah.
put it all
Yeah,
together.
there is a basic, that was created, early on this year. So there is a bullet point of just basic, and then it would be sharing the link.
And I move that Jim do the Rotary. Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nobody opposed?
So as far as, it would just need to be scheduled, and I can, Jim, I can work with you.
Yeah.
Work with me on that, because you have to get their acceptance of what.
Correct.
Committee from there, and then we can work on that. Maybe end up being in November.
Okay, the next item, we go to the transportation domain review from.
I'd like to make a comment about items 5 through 8. I recommend that we, negate those or postpone them, because we're not gonna be doing domains anymore, and I think since the whole commission is not here, I don't really think that we should review these. I think it's just not appropriate for this time, this meeting, so I'd like to at least postpone them to the next meeting. And what do other people think?
I agree.
So there's I make a motion that we, postpone items 5 through 8. And we have a second?
We have a second.
All in favor? Anyone opposed? No. So we move these items. And the work plan, the next one is the review the work plan and the subcommittees. And again, we have an issue that the subcommittees don't exist.
Right,
So
so
what do we want to do with that?
want to postpone it again?
Yes, I would include it with the postponement.
So with items 5 to 9,
So then
should
maybe,
go together.
let's, maybe we'll have to revote.
So can everybody vote that we make items 5 through 9 move to the next month?
Somebody has to.
I move so.
Second.
All in favor? All opposed?
No.
I'm learning.
So with the work plan, because I know it will take a little bit of time to think, so definitely, I think for November, I would say come prepared to, at least what that structure or specific tasks that would make sense, for the work plan, because that is something that would need to be presented to council, and then also should be representative of what the commission would like to achieve over the next year.
So to clarify, we would still be looking at domains, but within the domains, we would make specific tasks related to that.
That is correct. So again, as I mentioned, correct, as I mentioned earlier, and so transportation, we would no longer have Commissioner Basigi and Commissioner O'Reilly, but there could be specific tasks. So, or even on housing, with the housing element, we could be specific in an ad hoc subcommittee where, Chair Dixit, attends a meeting and brings information back to the commission, or, so it does have to be task oriented. There would not be commissioners assigned specifically to individual domains. It would have to be in the assignment column that we would make those distinctions.
But right now, we have a large number of domains, whereas we can have only 3 ad hoc committees at the most.
Correct. So it would be strategic in maybe and that could be part of the discussion, that you identify kind of those tasks that would need to happen first, because it would affect, and even too, we do have now to 4 commissioners that are tied up in ad hoc subcommittees for the presentations, through October and November. And those would be completed in November. And then we would need to,
And we wouldn't need until January to talk about the completion of it,
correct.
right?
So working back from, presentation to council, how much time do we have for that particular body of work? To engage?
I don't think at least the joint meeting timeline has been set. I will follow up with the city clerk to see what timeline is anticipated, and then I can share that with the commission.
Yeah, I think it seems to me like if you're going by the current set of procedures, you would have to more or less choose a ad hoc subcommittee, but to more work on the work plan and present it to the commission. So I'm going to be out of the country starting from the 16th of October. But between now and then, if Jane, you're willing to work, I can be a member of the subcommittee. The two of us work together and put a new form of work plan together with the help from Jamie, significant help from Jamie. Would you be willing to do that?
I think Sharbury should be included in that. I mean, she's gonna be running.
Okay, well then that's one.
So, again, we can, a commissioner can only serve on one subcommittee at a time. So, Shaveri, yourself, Jim, Chris, and Kevin are already on ad hoc subcommittees for those presentations. So you would not be able to serve on another subcommittee.
We don't have to keep those people in those domains. It's all gonna shift.
Yeah, and I think that could be a focus for November, where the full commission can, and can discuss kind of what the setup is.
Yeah, we all need training wheels.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect.
The next thing is the informational items, flyers, receive informational flyers, what's that?
Yeah, so, I will, I think, Sarah Robustelli from Los Altos Hills had to drop off at the moment, but, what's highlighted in the packet is the town, trick or treat at Town Hall. That will be on Halloween between 3 and 5 p.m. And then, going into, I think there was one other event that was highlighted for Los Altos Hills, which was the Vines and Wines, which is on October 15th. And that will be between 2 and 5 p.m. at Town Hall. Reservations are required and space is limited to 250. So it does list how to register and the fee associated with it. For
It sells out. It sells out, so don't.
Oh, okay.
And it's not just because I'm pouring my wines.
So specifically for Los Altos, we have our Halloween movie night, which will be hosted at Grant Park. That will be on Saturday, October 21st, and the featured movie will be Hotel Transylvania, which is rated PG. It is free. There is limited parking, so we always recommend that you consider walking, biking, or carpooling. And we will provide the movie, and I think there will be some refreshments. There will be some snacks, and then to bring your own chairs and blankets. That will be, the movie is anticipated to start at 7 p.m. And then we also, I'll let, once we get there, Chris will highlight the spotlight. But then I will also highlight Family Fun Day. We do have one scheduled at the end of this month. I can't believe we're in October, but it will be Saturday, October 28th, and it will have a Halloween theme. And it will be the 10 to 1 time frame. If you'll recall, the last one we had in August, we had probably 750 people come through that day. So it's a great event for families, lots of activities and various things. So that will be on October 28th. We also have an upcoming information at Grant Park, so presentation at Grant Park, specifically about updates to Medicare. And that will be on November 8th from 12 to 1. And then we are hiring. There's a variety of opportunities listed, both full-time and part-time. So on the full-time side, there's an account tech position, an emergency response coordinator. Specifically on the part-time side, we're still looking for facility attendants for our facility rental program, a preschool teacher 1 and 2, and specifically recreation leaders for our drop-in teen program as well. And then obviously you see the listed coming soon with our finance CIP manager, senior engineer, and office assistant, and the MSC superintendent. So there are a number of opportunities available, and those are all listed on our city website as well. That is everything for the flyers. Any questions about any of the information or events that were shared?
No, just that if we were going to have a link already, we could have posted it or put a poster at all these events where 700 people show up.
No, absolutely. And once we do, and that's because especially to the upcoming Family Fun Days with the listing on the monitors will absolutely be helpful. And we would absolutely include a QR code just to make it simpler for people to get to the link. So absolutely. With that, for the spotlight, is there anything that you wanted to highlight, Chris?
I could share some general program highlights that are contained within the spotlight.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yes, so this is Chris from Adult 50 Plus. Just some upcoming program highlights I'd like to share. October 11th is our lunch program at Grant Park. As always, you can register for the lunch programs by calling the Senior Center, and we encourage a $5 day of donation. Donation accepted that day. Later this month, October 19th, our mini trip, which has sold out. We will be going to Burlingame, Hillsborough, to the Carolans Mansion with a lunch event in Menlo Park. October 20th, Friday, 6 to 8:30 p.m. Club 55's Oktoberfest will be hosted here at the Los Altos Community Center in the Grand Oak Room and Courtyard. Enjoy music, wine, food, and friends. Sounds like fun. Bring a bottle of wine to share. There is RSVP information. Email club55 losaltos@gmail.com. Also later this month, we're taking RSVPs and registrations for a military service personnel writing session, and that's 10 a.m. to noon in the Senior Center. Later this month, we're doing our 4th Thursday lunch at 12 p.m. here at the Community Center. Again, register for the lunch programs by calling the Senior Center ahead of time. As Jamie mentioned, November 11th, noon to 1 p.m., we have SourceWise sharing updates to 2024 Medicare changes, and that will be happening at Grant Park. Finally, in December, Breathe California's Is It a Cold, Flu, or Pneumonia presentation, which will compare the symptoms of each of these illnesses and the proper actions to maintain the health of seniors. That will be held at Grant Park. And again, don't forget to check out the spotlight for all the programs and activities that are shared.
One more thing. October 11th, after lunch at noon, we have Dr. George Ching, Chair of El Camino Hospital, and a well-known nephrologist who's going to be speaking on kidney health and how to maintain healthy kidneys. So just wanted to add that. And another thing is, if you have not signed up, there's a luau on October 14th for Lahaina to raise funds to help those victims of Lahaina.
Okay, one thing I wanted to ask Chris was that if I can have the number for the military personnel, the writing session, I can call them so that my group can be included. They've asked to be, I think we talked about it. And if we can somehow manage to include in the spotlight the second Tuesday of the month gathering for the cultural, what do you call it? Cultural exchange program, and that we play bingo each time. We might encourage more people to join. And it's a free bingo. We just play bingo, that's all. No money involved, well, when we have people, more people maybe, but yeah, that. And on November 14th, we will be having our Diwali event. Yeah, so people should come, should attend.
We should be sure to have a flyer on that. And did we highlight the, Mid-Autumn Festival that's coming up in October?
That'll be in my section.
Okay, good.
There was a conversation piece that I'd like to include that Jane has agreed to help my anxious person to be to help by being co-chair. Is there a possibility to include a co-chair? So you and I will be co-chair.
No, I'm gonna be your chair, but I've agreed to be co-chair in lieu of Jen.
Yeah,
Oh.
We wanna revote.
we want to revote that whole.
How do we do
process.
that?
Vice chair,
Tonight.
the vice chair.
Co-vice
The
chair.
white chair, yeah.
Yeah,
The vice
co-vice.
Is this the bottom? Is there a way?
I think it makes it
Well,
sense.
the rationale is that we both feel that, Jim's gonna be away so much, and I'm here, and I've just done it, and I'm willing to do it, and also that both of them are from Los Altos Hills. I think it would be great to have one of each, and I'm from Los Altos. So what would be the protocol for,
Would,
undoing and redoing?
would Jim resign?
I resigned tonight.
I'm assuming, that would be one process,
How
but
do
the other
we do
process
it?
that we
How
have
do we
not
do
done
it?
far enough.
Without waiting a month.
Okay, that was gonna be my question, again, that item has passed. So is there protocol for going back, or?
It's passed, but it was an agenda, and we're still.
It was.
So.
Yeah.
Continue.
Okay.
Time to think it through.
Okay. So with that, then, I think formally there would need to be, although it's resignation or decline from, Commissioner Basigi. And then the commission can renominate and then revote.
I hear resign from the position that I was chosen for, which is.
Vice chair. Okay, so then there would need to be a nomination.
Okay, so we nominate Jane to be the vice chair.
Vice chair.
Need one motion.
One motion for the chair, or vice chair position.
So one person can make the motion.
Oh, I see. Go ahead.
Okay, I make a motion for the assignment of the vice chair, go to Jane and to Jim.
So.
Nominator, of course.
No, I'm resigning. So what is happening is that I'm resigning
Right.
simultaneously.
And I'm willing to do it.
Is
I changed my
Oh,
mind.
so you're not gonna be a co-chair, you're just gonna be the vice.
I'm gonna be right.
Back there.
Can you make that motion?
I will. I'll make the motion to nominate Jane as vice chair for the next sessions.
well done.
Second.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Okay, thank you, Jim.
Okay, then the age-friendly receive update from city staff.
So the report is we're on number 11. So really the update for age friendly is that I've been a squeaky wheel, but AARP is working to get the test link. So as soon as that is available, I will get that to the commission. But I have not had luck yet.
And then number 12 doesn't exist because we're not.
Correct. So that will be changed for the next agenda, and that will not be there.
Number 13, staff oral reports from the town of Los Altos Hills and city of Los Altos staff.
Yeah, so Chris provided his when he went over the spotlight. The only addition that I will share on the city side is that registration and classes are now going for the fall season, which goes through December. And then I'm very excited, our department is in the process. It will not be mailed, but we will have a return of our printed activity guide for the winter season, which will cover January through March of next year. So the last printed activity guide that we had was spring of 2020. So we're very excited. But that will be available here at the community center and obviously the various other facilities that we have. But we will have that for our winter season, which again will be released towards the end of this year. So with that, that is everything that I have. That's it for the staff report.
Very nice. And the future agenda items, we've created some today, and some of these don't exist.
Yes, so we have the marketing piece for the survey. That will be one that will continue. And the work plan were the two from our discussion today. Is there anything additional by the commission? Oh, I'm sorry, that's right. I will share that.
Maybe it's included in what you just said, but the strategy is for moving from our existing or the old system to the new one. Yeah. That included.
That could be a part of the discussion for the work plan, and
Clean slate or start what?
correct.
Correct, but then what does that mean? Are we, because there are no subcommittees, we don't have the subcommittee meeting dates anymore. The ad hoc committee for making the work plan is only Jane.
We don't have that really. We only have the ad hoc for the talks
For the
right now.
talk, right?
So, do you feel like we can discuss this and get it started at the next meeting? Or do you want a little draft of a few ideas going forward, or what would you like?
So the commissioners can absolutely, it doesn't necessarily have to be, again, it's going to be discussed by the full commission. If there are suggestions by the commissioners, you can bring that forward during the meeting and to discuss as a group, if that is the structure and tasks that you would like to move forward with. But the work plan would be the topic to be discussed.
And in the meeting too, we just discussed the work plan.
Correct. And then Councilmember Ling reminded me, there is also one of the additional event that I need to highlight. And I will make sure to forward out the flyer as well, but there will be a Mid-Autumn Festival that will be hosted here at the community center on Sunday, October 15th. And that will be during the 1 to 4 time frame here. So there will be lots of activities during that time frame. So I apologize, I forgot that during my staff report.
How do you close the meeting?
Meeting adjourned, that's what you said.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you everyone for attending and doing whatever. Yes, thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you everyone for supporting. Thank you. Thank you for welcome. I'm not sure what happened. Thank you. I need a pint of ice cream to get over.